Hi, friends. HL here. Some of y'all have asked me about my Life of Prayer class recently, and the prayer practice I've been doing and learning about is called the Daily Offices. I just wanted to teach y'all a little bit about that and just kind of explain it in a video. So here we go. So the Daily Offices is a practice that I think is known to have begun with the apostles in the book of Acts. It became more formalized into praying 7 times a day around the time of Saint Benedict, so kind of early church era in the time of the monastic communities. The monastics would often pray at least 7 times a day, and those 7 times are typically 3 or 4 times in the morning, a couple for the afternoon, and then about 3 times in the evening. They are called lauds, prime, tierce, sext, none, vespers, compline, and vigils. Lauds or praise is meant to be done around 5 a.m. Prime or prime is at the start of the day, so about the time you wake up or getting ready to go about your day, basically. Terce or tierce is for mid-morning, so around 10 o'clock. Sext is for like midday or noon. And none for the afternoon, so like maybe 2 or 3-ish. Vespers is like early evening when you're kind of winding down from your day. Compline is for end of day and like right before bed, and then the vigils are for middle of the night or midnight. Most people, when they start practicing the offices, are not praying all of the 7 times just because it's not as feasible, just with most people's schedules, to do that unless you are, training to be like in the Episcopal Church, possibly, or Anglican Church. So those orders would be typically using all 7 or most of the 7. But usually, based on my readings and understanding of it, it's, you pick 3 or 4, maybe 5 times a day that you're praying. And that seems to be a little bit more flexible. It sounds like a lot when you first start it, but you can actually make it adapt to your schedule. And it kind of helps you get into like a rhythm of prayer throughout the day. Many practice the daily offices both on their own and in a spiritual community. And the offices are designed to accommodate both of those uses. So you'll have like the early morning prayers and the late prayers typically are written more for individual use, and the middle of the day and even early evening prayers are more for group use or congregational use. Most of the prayers are coming from what's called the Common Book of Prayer, which I have like a little pocket version of it. There we go. Which I like. It's more traditional, and you're really praying through a lot of the Psalms. And then it's also split up depending on the liturgical calendar. So that's more like, I guess, traditional way of doing it. And also, the book I mainly use was recommended by a friend, a fellow Ilifian, Daily Prayer for All Seasons, which is this little book. It's not that big. The prayers are a little bit shorter than Book of Common Prayer, and they're a little bit more inclusive and focusing on social justice issues. So I tend to use that the most. So basically how it works, if you're in a group, there's someone who's leading or a couple people leading, and they will read one part and you will recite either in bold or following an asterisk the rest of it. So you're kind of chanting or singing the prayers, which I think is really cool. Some of the obstacles people can end up dealing with are that it's just a lot at first and there's a lot of repetition. That's fantastic to get into that rhythm and realize that it helps you be aware of, whatever gods you're praying to, and be aware of your spiritual community. So I think it's a great way to get connected to your community. So that's the daily offices. Thanks for listening, and hopefully it makes sense.